A generation ago, a farmhouse on 20 acres was just a regular house. Your grandparents did not call it homesteading, they called it Tuesday. They paid it off with one income and spent the rest of their time actually living. Now that same dream costs $400,000 if it comes with a driveway, and most of the country has been priced out of their own land. But here is what nobody is talking about. There are still towns in America where the farmhouse on acreage never got expensive, because the rest of the country never looked in their direction. Today we found 10 of them. Real towns, real farmhouses, real land, at prices your grandparents would recognize. We are counting them down from 10 to 1. The number 1 town has a listing so low it does not look real until you check. Number 10, Clarksville, Arkansas. Clarksville does not make lists. It does not show up in retirement guides or real estate roundups. It just sits in the Ozark foothills of Johnson County. Population around 9,500. Going about its business at a pace most of America forgot existed. Arkansas Route 7 runs right through it, one of the most scenic drives in the state. The Ozark National Forest presses in from 3 sides. The land here is hilly, green, and wooded, with small farms tucked into valleys and along ridgelines. The median home price runs around $105,000. And here is a real listing. 788 County Road, 3456, Clarksville, Arkansas. 3 bedrooms, 1 bath, 1,236 square feet on 4.5 acres. But it is what comes with it that makes the math interesting. There is a stocked pond, a barn, a chicken coop, a carport, and a separate 1-bedroom tiny home already on the property. The whole compound is listed at $156,900. MLS number Carmel's 25046-415. Owner financing possible. Arkansas has no state tax on Social Security and offers a retirement income exemption. Johnson Regional Medical Center handles healthcare in town. The University of the Ozarks adds stability. Farmers markets run spring through fall. The downside, Little Rock is 2 hours southeast. You are not close to a major city. But for someone looking for a small farm compound with a pond and a barn for under $160,000, this is a real one. The next town sits in the Appalachian Mountains of eastern Kentucky, and the acreage there gets much bigger. Number 9, Belcher, Kentucky. Belcher sits in Pike County, in the mountains of eastern Kentucky. This is deep Appalachia. Tight valleys, steep ridges, and communities shaped by generations of coal mining and timber work. Pike County is one of the largest counties in the state by land area, and the landscape here has the kind of raw, layered beauty that western states charge a premium for. Pikeville, the regional hub, is within driving distance with grocery stores, a hospital, schools, and a working downtown. The median home price in Pike County sits well below the state average, and the listing that puts Belcher on this list is hard to argue with. 14 acres with 4 flat, usable sections, a move-in ready home, a full appliance package, a garage, and a storage building, all for $134,900. 14 acres of mountain land at that price in the eastern United States is not something you run into often. The infrastructure is already started on one of those flat sections, meaning a second home, a barn, or a workshop has a head start. Cost of living in eastern Kentucky runs roughly 25% below the national average. Kentucky does not tax Social Security income. The honest trade-off, this is rural Appalachia. The job market is limited. The closest full-service city is Pikeville, about 30 minutes out. Cell service and internet can be spotty in the hollows. But for a buyer who wants mountain acreage at a price that most of the country has not seen in 30 years, Pike County still delivers. The next town sits on a river in Mississippi with a median home price that will stop you cold. Number 8, Aberdeen, Mississippi. Aberdeen does not announce itself. No famous festival, no viral moment. Just a quiet town of about 5,000 people sitting on the Tombigbee River in northeast Mississippi, doing exactly what it has done for almost 200 years. The historic district is full of antebellum homes dating to the 1830s, tree-lined streets with wide porches and iron fences. The river shaped this town. Before railroads, the Tombigbee was the highway, and Aberdeen was a port. That era left behind architecture that most towns this size simply do not have. The median home price here sits around $83,000. That is not a typo. That is just what houses cost in Aberdeen. The listing is 10,024 Staff Circle. 4 bedrooms, 2 baths, 2,240 square feet on 1.5 acres, with a 2-year-old roof and a storage shed, listed at $125,000. MLS number NEMS BD 25-2786. Mississippi has no state tax on Social Security income, and property taxes are among the lowest in the country. Monroe County Medical Center handles healthcare. Tupelo is 30 minutes west. Columbus is 25 minutes south. The catch: summers are brutally hot. The job market is thin outside agriculture and manufacturing, but the town has genuine character, and the prices are some of the lowest you will find anywhere in the American South. The next town was Oklahoma's original capital, and somehow forgot to raise its prices. Number 7. Guthrie, Oklahoma. Guthrie was the first capital of Oklahoma. That lasted 3 years before Oklahoma City took the title in 1910, and Guthrie has been holding a grudge and low home prices ever since. The entire downtown is a National Historic Landmark District, one of the largest collections of original Victorian-era commercial buildings in the country. Population around 11,000. 30 minutes north of Oklahoma City on Interstate 35. The listing is 3417 Two Creeks Road. 2 bedrooms, 1 bath, 1,152 square feet on 4.25 acres. Well, septic, pond, wooded lot. Appraised at $132,000, listed at $125,000. MLS number OCMAR 1221728. Oklahoma has no state income tax on retirement benefits. Mercy Hospital Logan County is in town. OKC is a straight shot south. The honest trade: Oklahoma summers are hot, and tornado season is real. But prairie farmland, on 4 acres with a pond for $125,000, 30 minutes from a major city, is genuinely hard to find anywhere else. The next town sits so far north in Maine it practically touches Canada. Number 6. Presque, Maine. Most people could not find Aroostook County on a map. That is why it belongs on this list. Presque sits at the very top of Maine, closer to Quebec than Portland. Population around 9,000. This is potato country. Aroostook County produces more potatoes than any county east of Idaho, and the farmland stretches for miles. In harvest season, the fields turn over in waves, and the whole county smells like fresh earth. It is a working agricultural landscape that has not been turned into a bedroom community or a tourist trap. The listing is 8 Cronin Road. 3 bedrooms, 1.5 baths, built in 1900, with a detached 2-car garage and a lake view, sitting next to Aroostook State Park, listed at $125,000. A 1900 farmhouse with a lake view for $125,000 in New England. Cost of living sits roughly 18% below the national average, which is unusual for this part of the country. Northern Light A.R. Gould Hospital handles healthcare. The Canadian border is 15 minutes away. Winters are long and cold. That is not a footnote, that is the trade. But summer and fall in northern Maine are genuinely spectacular, and the growing season produces some of the best root vegetables in the country. The next town sits in northern Michigan, surrounded by state forest. Number 5. Fairview, Michigan. Almost nobody thinks about northern Michigan's Lower Peninsula, and that is why prices here never caught up. Fairview sits in Oscoda County. Population of the whole county around 8,000. The town is tiny, surrounded by Sable State Forest and farmland dotted with old barns and fieldstone fences. The listing is 723 North Perry Creek Road. 3 bedrooms, 1 bath, 770 square feet on nearly 4 acres. Detached pole building, steel roof, new gas furnace. Listed at $124,900. MLS number WWMLS 201838807. In southern Michigan, that kind of acreage starts north of $200,000 before you build anything on it. Cost of living runs about 22% below the national average. The nearest hospital is about 45 minutes south. Winters are cold. Cell service gets spotty. This is not a place for someone who needs a target within 10 minutes. But for real acreage, genuine privacy, and a house that costs less than a new truck, Fairview is the real thing. The next town sits in eastern Kentucky with 15 acres at a price you will not expect. Number 4. Hamilton, Alabama. Hamilton does not get talked about much outside of Marion County, and that is exactly why it still costs what it costs. It is the county seat in the rolling hills of northwest Alabama, a town of about 7,000 people, with the Bootahatchee River winding right through it. This is a real working town. A hospital, A downtown, schools, wrapped in farm country where a house with a few acres is still normal, not a luxury. The land here is green and gently hilly, the kind of place with old barns sitting at the back of long gravel drives. The median home price runs well below the national average, and the listing that earns Hamilton a spot is a quiet one. 398 Oak Ridge Drive. 3 bedrooms, 1.5 baths, 1,048 square feet on 7 acres, built in 1976, with a separate shop building, a half-unfinished basement for storage or future expansion, and roughly 500 feet of frontage right on the Buttahatchee River. The whole thing is listed at $139,000. MLS number SMLSA 526659. Alabama does not tax Social Security income, and property taxes here are the lowest in the entire country. North Mississippi Medical Center Hamilton handles healthcare right in town. Birmingham is about 90 minutes southeast when you need a city, and Tupelo is an hour west. The honest trade, summers are hot and humid, and the local job market is modest. But for a site-built home on 7 riverfront acres, with a shop already standing, for under $140,000, Hamilton is the real thing. The next town sits in rural North Carolina for under $95,000. Number 3. Ruffin, North Carolina. Ruffin is a small community in Rockingham County, in the rolling Piedmont tobacco country of north-central North Carolina. This is the landscape most people picture when they think about the rural South. Green hills, old barns, 2-lane roads lined with hardwoods, and properties that have been in families for generations. The tobacco auction houses are mostly quiet now, but the land they left behind never got repriced. The listing is 500 Stevens Road. 2 bedrooms, 2 baths, 1,074 square feet on 3 acres, listed at $94,900. A double-wide manufactured home on 3 acres of Carolina countryside for under $95,000. That number is not something you see often this close to a major metro. Rockingham County sits roughly 30 minutes north of Greensboro, which means you have access to a city's hospitals, airports, and retail without paying its prices. 45 minutes to Winston-Salem. An hour and a half to Raleigh-Durham. North Carolina does not tax Social Security benefits. Property taxes in the county run well below the national average. The honest catch, the local economy is modest. Tobacco farming has declined. But the land is real. The price is real. And for anyone bringing retirement income or remote work, Ruffin puts you in the Carolina Piedmont for what most people spend on a used car. The next town drops to under $60,000, and you are going to want to hear it. Number 2. Sandstone, West Virginia. Sandstone is not a town in the traditional sense. It is an unincorporated community in Summers County, sitting along the New River, in the shadow of the New River Gorge. The same gorge that became America's newest national park in 2021. Population is tiny. Services are minimal. The nearest grocery is in Hinton, about 10 miles south. This is a place for people who want genuine mountain privacy and do not mind driving for their errands. The kind of place where your nearest neighbor might be a quarter mile away, and neither of you considers that strange. The listing is 611 Swell Mountain Road. 3 bedrooms, 1 bath, 960 square feet on 4 acres, listed at $59,900. 4 acres and a 3-bedroom home in southern West Virginia for under $60,000. West Virginia has the lowest median home price of any state in the country. Property taxes are among the lowest in the nation. The trade-off is real. The job market is essentially non-existent locally. Cell service is unreliable. Winter roads require preparation. But the land is surrounded by mountains. The New River is right there, and the price is a number that most Americans stopped believing was possible. The final town on this list is 10 miles south, has more services, a stronger story, and a listing that ties the whole video together. Number 1. Hinton, West Virginia. This is where the list ends and where the best deal on it lives. Hinton sits at the southern tip of Summers County, right where the New River and the Greenbrier River meet. Population around 2,500. The New River Gorge wraps around the town from above. Rock climbers, whitewater rafters, and hikers come here from across the country. Most of them visit for a weekend. Nobody tells them they could live here for next to nothing. The listing is 1945 State Route 3 and 12 in the Talcott and Hilldale area just outside Hinton. 3 bedrooms, 1 bath, 1,484 square feet, built in 1931. 9 acres of field and woods, mountain views in every direction, no restrictions, sold as is. Listed at $100,000. MLS number GVMLs 25-1291. A 1931 farmhouse on 9 acres in the shadow of a national park for $100,000. That is not a fixer-upper fantasy. That is a real, habitable home on real land at a price that most of America cannot even process. And if that is still more than you want to spend, remember the Sandstone listing 10 miles north, 4 acres for $59,900. The range in this single county alone is enough to make you rethink everything you thought you knew about what a home should cost. Day-to-day life in Hinton is simple. A few local restaurants, a small grocery, a hardware store, and the kind of quiet where the loudest sound most mornings is the river. The homes around here are not new construction. They are old mountain farmsteads, some with fieldstone foundations, some with tin roofs, that have been there since before the interstate system existed. That is the character. You cannot buy it in a subdivision. The town hosts Hinton Railroad Days every October, a throwback to when the C&O Railway built this place. Summers County ARH Hospital handles healthcare. Beckley is 30 minutes north with more retail and medical options. The honest truth, this is remote. The job market is thin. Winter roads can test you. But none of that changes the math. For anyone with a pension, a social security check, a remote job, or savings they want to stretch as far as humanly possible, Hinton offers something almost nowhere in America still can. A farmhouse on your own land, next to a national park, for a price that would not cover closing costs in most of the country. 10 American towns. 10 real listings you can look up the moment this video ends. Not fantasies, not foreclosures, not tricks. Just places where a home with some land around it still costs what things used to cost before the rest of the country lost its mind. Every MLS number we mentioned is in the description below. Whether you are relocating, planning ahead, or just tired of watching prices climb while your savings stay flat, I hope this list gave you something real to work with. Tell me in the comments which one surprised you the most, or which one you would actually move to. We will see you in the next one.